Hi, my name is Bryce Taylor. I'm with Downtown Physical Therapy, and I'm the creator of the Halo Trainer. I'm here with Monica, and Monica is a mom. And Monica is going to show us several different push-up variations that we can do. We're going to look at 3 categories. This is not, we're not going into great depth into what a push-up is and what's engaged during a push-up. We're not going to look at faulty movement patterns, etc., etc. But we are going to look at 3 categories. We're going to look at angle of incline, what I call the sun ray push-up, and you'll see, depending on what the lever looks like, the angle of incline, it'll change the way that the load is applied to our body. We're going to look at the anti-rotation component when we get into single leg, and we're going to look at the depth of the push-up. So let's get started. Monica, let's have you start with the top of the sun ray and go ahead and do a push-up with the highest angle of incline that we have available normally in a home, which is we're using the edge of a couch or a chair, armchair, and go through a full push-up. As you can see with this angle of incline, a lot of the load is actually being shared with the feet. So her hip flexors are working a little bit harder, and it's unloading the upper body. So this is a good place to start. But she's still in a full plank position, so she still has engagement of the anterior core. And make sure you squeeze your glutes when you do any kind of push-up or any kind of plank. Okay, now we're going to move right down into the next level down. So this would be on top of your couch or an armchair or even a coffee table. Okay, you might notice the angle of incline lowered just a little bit more. And then we're going to take it down all the way to the floor. And anytime we take that angle down, the load comes up on the upper body. So she's going to start struggling here as we get up into essentially there where it's 0 at the bottom of the push-up. That's great, Monica. Okay, now we're going to move to sort of a decline position. Place your feet up here on, and check with your husband before you put your feet on the sofa. Okay, great. So when her feet are supported here, she's going to be at a decline by the time she reaches her eventual position. So she's going past 0. You feel the load on the upper body? Yeah? Yeah, she's getting a lot more load through the anterior shoulder. That's great. You don't have to push anymore. Because we got another one. And that's going to be the downward facing dog position. So go ahead and start in a plank. There we go. Raise your hips up as high as you can. There we go. And walk your feet in just a hair. And go ahead and do a push-up from there. So now we've changed the angle even yet. And push back on your heels as you push back up. So drive your nose to the floor, push back on your heels. There it is. Drive to the floor. Now, to modify this one, this gets really tough. You can bring this foot forward a little bit in an offset position. Not too far that you're restricted by your knee. There we go. Now she can share the load a little bit more with her lower extremities. So that's the sun ray. If you look at the rays of the sun, we've got this angle, this angle, this angle, this angle, this angle around this core structure. So, all right. All right, now we're going to go into a second category, and that's anti-rotation. So Monica is using the Halo Trainer here because it's a great angle of incline, kind of between the couch and all the way to the floor. She got a little bit tired probably after the first, I don't know, we do 10 or more push-ups, some of them being that decline position. So this is a good angle of incline to work from. So, and the ergonomic grips will set us up for our next category, which will be depth. So Monica, go ahead and assume a great plank position. Again, squeeze the glutes, make sure you're bracing, and take it down into a nice full push-up, but on one leg. So as she lifts one leg into extension, there's this this desire for your body to rotate on a transverse axis or into rotation. So when you lift a leg, we diminish the base of support, and then the body wants to rotate around In this case, it wants to rotate around in a counterclockwise position. So now we're going to take it out into abduction, which takes that lever away from midline, and the moment or the desire of rotation increases, but she's going to keep it bent. And as she keeps it bent, it's not quite as much as if she goes long. Now this is likened to a Spider-Man push-up. A lot of people will see the Spider-Man push-up. If you think about it, it's an anti-rotation push-up, and there's a little bit more hip flexion involved where that knee comes up right along the rib cage. All right, now we're going to take it into full abduction. In full abduction, she lifts up into extension and takes it out into abduction as far as her hip socket will allow, and she maintains neutral spine, doesn't tip, her pelvis is nice and flat, and she goes to full depth on that one as well. So now that we're talking about depth, let's go ahead and just plunge right into it. When you're doing your push-ups, you have the opportunity of doing a partial push-up, a full push-up, or what I would call a full plus. And in this case, go ahead and do a partial. So we're going to go partway down and back up. Okay? A full push-up. She goes down to the level of her wrist. A full plus has taken her past that position where her chest actually dipped below the level of the wrist, and the Halo Trainer allows for that. Or if you have a chair, an armchair with handles, or something that allows that end range to be deeper than where your arms are, that's how we can modify the depth. But you want to take those categories into account when you're doing your push-ups. So just to review, we had the sun ray push-up where we looked at different levels of incline. We looked at the anti-rotation, how far the leg is out, how long that lever is, and then we looked at the depth. So consider those three variables, and you'll have fun making up some new push-ups maybe. But there you go, that angle of incline. I wanted to show you guys the stair push-ups. The stair push-ups are a way of varying that angle of incline. Starting at the farthest stair that she can reach in a comfortable plank position, that would be sort of the regress position, or the position to start with, and then the end goal will be the bottom step. So as she moves down the step, her feet move back the same distance that her arms move back. And it gets progressively harder as the load moves up into the upper extremities and the anterior shoulders. The farther she goes down, or closer to the floor she goes. So that's the stair push-up. That's the the angle of incline. Now, I just want to add something. The Halo Trainer, this adds the depth element. So we were talking about depth. We were talking about anti-rotation. We were talking about angle of incline. When we're looking at depth, the Halo Trainer allows for her to go into that full plus position. She can choose to do partial, she can do full, she can do full plus. And this way, she's doing full plus. Good for her. And once again, you can move from step to step for step. Halo Trainer allows for that ergonomic grip, and very supportive as it butts up against that stair. So that's just a number of ways of varying those push-ups. So now, you guys get after your push-ups.
For more information on the Halo Trainer, visit halotrainer.com or visit our YouTube channel at Halo Rehab Fitness.